and welcome to We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. Today, we are talking about, first, we want to say congratulations to us. We are actually celebrating our 1 year of officially podcasting and being giving this information out to the world and being very involved in what we do and making sure that we are putting information out there for overall mental health wellness and to make sure that people feel that they're getting some good content from us. So we've been doing this for 1 year now, and we've been pretty successful in providing information and interviewing other individuals that we've had on our show throughout the year. But for this 1 year anniversary, we're doing something real big and real special. So we're going to actually transition into our full podcast being on YouTube. And with that being said, it's going to take a little bit more effort from us as far as getting more word out there about us being a podcasting family that's doing what we're doing. And so, with that being said, Tremaine, we're going to talk a little bit about that, just kind of jump into it here and just, kind of talk about our transition, why we're transitioning, and what we're wanting to do with this transition. Okay.
Uh huh.
All right. So, um, with that being said, our first part of transitioning for me, I'm going to actually talk about the fact that we're transitioning. We're actually transitioning from a radio station that we were working with, and we wanted to give ourselves that 1 year of experience working in a system where we could be on top of getting our content out there. And it was a great experience working with the radio station. But now we're wanting to go over to YouTube, and I'm sure Tremaine's going to have a little bit more to tell us about the whole process of YouTube and how he's doing things. But when we were working, with the radio station, with another individual that's kind of telling us, what to do and how to do things for the most part, the experience was great. But it was a lot of being on a timetable with certain things. So with us going into just having our podcast on YouTube, first of all, we're able to podcast for how long we would like. So we don't have a 15-minute range, 30-minute range. We don't have that. We can go on and have our conversations for as long as we want to have our conversations. And then we'll also be at the point where we can actually be able to drop our podcast on whatever days of the week that we're going to drop our podcast on. So typically we were on the radio Friday mornings at 8:30 a.m. And then that was the only time that people could hear us. And then we got a little smart after, I think, about March or April. We started putting our podcast on YouTube. So when we dropped something, we were actually dropping it on YouTube as well. And then we got more regimented with that and kind of moved in to dropping the podcast. Every Friday morning we would drop the podcast, and then it will also be on the radio. So, Tremaine, what are some of the things that you can talk about as far as what we're doing and how we're transitioning, and some of the things that's going to be, I guess, a plus for us at this point?
Um, it was all a good experience overall. Learning how to do everything from the start. Anyway, um, it was just it was a good way to cut our teeth on the process and how we do our things, and it's something I think we'll never really be able to say enough about. I mean, that was an opportunity that you and I didn't know we were getting into.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So we just wanted to, like I said, get the information out there, get our content out there. And we weren't sure all about the radio stuff, but once we started doing it, we kind of figured out a little bit more. Tremaine, did you figure out anything particular when we once we got into it and started moving a little bit more?
Um, I mean, they kind of just gave us a blueprint, and all I did was like refine how we did it. Really,
Mm-hmm.
it was all kind of baby steps of learning what to record and what not to record, what to keep, and to make things a little bit more streamlined. It's really that. It's really all that was.
Okay. Okay. And of course, Tremaine, you have the background where you have already learned how to do a good bit of production stuff, right? When you did your internship and took some classes over at Access 21. So you were already, kind of abreast of some of the production stuff, right?
Um, about that, I mean, I didn't finish it in that way, but I already had somewhat of that in high school and other things like that. I didn't finish the stuff at Access 21, but it also was a good experience to like give me. I think honestly, with certain camera work and certain things like that,
Yeah, I
learn,
know you
learn.
for
Hmm?
Access 21, you finished the courses that you intended to take. You finished that part of it, right? Because it's not a long-term program over there. It's just a program to get you acclimated, I think. So I think
Um,
you did technically finish that part of it, right? What you were going for.
um, I can't even really remember what I was going for. It was so long ago.
Okay, okay.
But
Well,
I did it was a good experience, and it gave me a good foundation to like know what I was doing. I didn't go in completely blind.
okay. And so that's what I was going to say. Then after that, you kind of self-taught, self-learned a lot of the things that you're able to do and how you're able to, break things up in our podcast and then add commercials in and edit video, the editing of the audio or the video or whatever. You're able to do a lot of that stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean the internet is your friend. You basically, if you want to learn something, it doesn't take. Not that it takes. I'm not a master of it or anything, but I do know how to do specific things at least well enough that it doesn't look too bad.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
I'm learning new stuff every as I go on. As I go on, I'm learning different things.
Okay, good deal, good deal. So, I mean, I think with that being said, it does put us in a good position that, we are making this transition and I believe making a healthy transition at this point because we have I think almost 80 something videos on YouTube right now regarding the podcast and then some of my presentations and things like that. So I think we got some good information out there and some good content. So with that, we're going to go to a commercial break and we'll be back after these messages. Hi, this is Dr. Latasha McElwain, and I would like to introduce my first book. The name of my first book is Fragile Brokenness: The Unspoken Secrets That Shape a Pretty Unprotected Girl into a Practicing Clinician and Therapist. My key phrase is, when life gave me lemons, I gave life a doctor. I hope this would be an inspiring read for everyone with inspiring experiences and heavy experiences that will bring about the importance of being self aware, dealing with traumas, and being focused on your mental health wellness. The proof is in the journey. I hope you enjoy my book, Fragile Brokenness: The Unspoken Secrets That Shape a Pretty Unprotected Girl into a Practicing Clinician and Therapist. Sales begin December 2023. And we're back with We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. And of course, Tremaine and I are talking today pretty much about our transition with our podcast now from the radio airways onto the YouTube airways. And we've been on YouTube for quite some time. But again, like I said earlier, we're 1 year in, and we wanted to make a swift transition over and make sure that we're able to continue to stay on YouTube and put our information out there, get our content out to people that are listening, that are wanting to hear what we're talking about when we're talking about mental health wellness, when we're talking about physical health wellness, we're talking about financial health wellness, we're talking about nutritional health, we're talking about everything under the sun that really pertains to, the lifestyle that we actually live and doing the things that we do because, technically with the past year, we have grown in areas exponentially. We have just, oh my goodness, it's been such a growth process with a lot of the things that we've done from this podcast to me publishing a book, Fragile Brokenness, to growing insightful options more, as well as being able to have book signings with Fragile Brokenness and having Tremaine, having you on site to do some of the recordings with the individuals that come through that have maybe not read the book, but have had some dealings with me and some experiences with me or whatever, and they're sharing those experiences, and we're able to use that information for the place, on our podcast. And then my other son, Michael, we're kind of launching his culinary skills. We're definitely working in that area. And then when we start looking at our Green McElwain Foundation, we're just still doing things there with our high tea. This year would be, last year was our inaugural year, it was our first year doing it. This year would be our second annual high tea charitable event. So we're looking at growing in that space as well. And when we look at all these different things, even with our dance studio that's attached to the Green McElwain Foundation, growing where we can have more classes that we're offering to little girls or little boys, and we're actually being able to put that information out there as well. The networking we have gotten through all the things that we're doing and the places that we're actually being invited to do things now, we're just seeing a major change in our lifestyle. Not only a change in our lifestyle, but we're meeting different people on different levels, and I think that is something major. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to also make sure that we got options with the Doctor and Son can be heard pretty much any time of day if a person go on to our YouTube page and be able to get the information that they're needing or information that they're wanting to hear. I think our content is very important. I think our content is very engaging. And I think our content is very realistic, as in, this is real life. We're not talking about things that, don't happen or things that we wish could happen. We're not wishfully thinking. These are things that we, kind of think about, we go through, and then we decide to, of course, share it with the world. So, Tremaine, what are some of the benefits you would think that we are having now that we are transitioning fully over to YouTube and we won't have that other outlet anymore?
It's just a basic freedom in certain aspects of what we do. Like you said at the beginning of the show, we'll have we don't have we don't have people telling us when to get stuff out, or how long does it have to be, and things of that nature. It's just the really more freedom and being able to say anything we really want, really.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. And I think there were some things that we couldn't say being on the radio air. You're right, Tremaine. We couldn't say certain things, but I think we did a good job with just keeping our, information and our content at a good point where it was definitely realistic conversations happening between, happening between us, and then of course happening with our guests as well. I think we were pretty genuine in our ability to, interview and ask questions and things like that. So yeah. But yeah, so with that, we'll go ahead and go to a commercial break, and we'll be back after these messages. Insightful Options, PLLC, providing counseling, consultation, and DWI services in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Contact us at www.insightful-options.com, 704-492-1105. And we're back with We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. So again, today's show, we are talking really pretty much about the fact that we are transitioning over to YouTube with our podcast. And again, like I said, we're so excited because we're 1 year in now. We are at our 1 year anniversary with We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. And with that being said, again, like I said earlier, we've had so much progress and so much growth in the last year that it is beyond me that we have done so much in the past year. So this year, I want to just give you a rundown of what we got coming up because we got a lot of stuff going. On February 24th, we are actually going to be at a book signing event in Georgetown, South Carolina, which is where we're currently from. We're going to be there doing the book signing at 2921 High Market Street in Georgetown, South Carolina. We'll be there, of course, with family from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And it'll be a lot to view and see. And we've also invited an artist from Georgetown, and we've also invited another author that's from the area as well. And we are wanting to, create some of these book signing events and these artists coming in as well to kind of give an idea of that literacy in the arts in our community, in the Black community, or in the community, the minority community. We just want to be able to, people of color be able to get some good good information, some good exposure to some activities and things of that nature. We definitely want to talk to young kids about writing books and about drawing and artwork and things like that. So we're wanting to do things of that nature. We also have a book signing coming up in on March 10th. That one's going to be back in Charlotte from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And that was going to be at 615 East 6th Street in Charlotte. That is where our office is located. So we're going to have one there in March. And then we have a couple of events coming up in April that we're working on. We're working on our second annual high tea coming up in April. We're also working on a book signing for that event as well. So there will probably be not joint events, but an event happening those events happening in the same day. We're looking at possibly doing a workshop in the morning hours, the early afternoon hours, probably the book signing, and then the evening hours, we will have the high tea event. So we're trying to put together a real nice event for April, coming up on the springtime, and it's coming into the Easter season, the Easter holiday. And then when we get to May, we already know we have our Belize, our retreat, our health and wellness retreat that's going to be in Belize. And of course, I'll be headlining that retreat in Belize. And basically, it's health and wellness. I'll be doing some of my journaling while we're there with our participants, individuals that come along on the trip. We'll also be doing stretch and meditation. I'll be leading those classes as well. And then there are a few other activities that we have that we're looking to work on and work with with our participants that's coming to Belize in May. So that's going to be May 21st through May 27th. We have a trip to Belize, and it is a health and wellness retreat. So with that being said, in May, we'll probably end up having another book signing event, or we might end up doing everything that we're going to do in Belize at that time, because that's going to be our, international trip. That's going to take me to my international status, of course. And so we're going to definitely work on that and get all of that in place. So that's kind of the events that we have coming up in the next few months and we have going on. And we're so excited to share a lot of this because, again, like I said, last year when we started the podcast, we had no idea, the radio show podcast, we had no idea where we would go. And it was almost like once the bug hit, once it bit me and once it bit Tremaine, I don't know if you can just give your idea of it, but once it bit me, I was just like, okay, event. We need to set up our events for the things that we want to see, and we need to get some of these things done and put them on the calendar and go for it. So, Tremaine, what are some of the things you thought about when we actually did? Did it spark anything for you per se?
Um, I guess I was just as excited as you were. It just felt like an opportunity to do something we hadn't done before.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with everyone listening to us at this time and to keep listening to us, we're going to be on YouTube again. And on YouTube, we're going to be at Insightful Options. That's this channel. And then we'll have a second channel, which is Insightful Options 1. And that one will have more short videos on it. It'll definitely have me doing some of my swimming, some of my dance classes. It'll have me doing some short just words of the day or things that I'm talking about or thoughts for the day and things like that. But Insightful Options, that one will have the podcast on it. It'll have any corporate presentations that I do, any workshops that I do. It'll have all that good stuff on there so people can get those golden nuggets from us. And then, of course, any interviews we do at any point in time, we'll also post those as well. And we do tell the individuals that we're typically interviewing or recording with, we do let them know that we are, wanting to use the information that we're getting from them, the content that we're getting from them on our podcast. So most of the time, everyone knows that that's what, when they see Tremaine, they know that's what's getting ready to happen, right, Tremaine?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this show. And again, come see us. We're at YouTube. And once you go to youtube.com, all you got to do is look for Insightful Options. Insightful Options. The second channel that we have is Insightful Options 1. So that's going to be where you guys can hear us and can hear all the good things and all the good people that we are talking to, and just learn more and just be entertained by what we have to talk about, the content that we're putting out there. All right. So with that being said, thanks so much for listening to We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. We'll see you next time. We Got Options with the Doctor and Son, a family conversation discussing mental health and wellness topics weekly with a variety of special guest appearances. Join us every Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. on www.wdrbmedia.com.